I was born in 1924. When I came into this world, the television hadn't been invented. Bread was still baked at home, and if you wanted to talk to someone, you looked them in the eye. Today I am 102 years old. I live in the same house I've owned for 50 years. I climb my own stairs, I make my own bed, and I still drive to the grocery store on Tuesday mornings. People always stop me. They look at my skin, they look at the way I walk without a cane, and they ask the same question. What is the secret? What do you eat? Last month I had a checkup. A young doctor, probably no older than 30, looked at my blood work with a confused frown. He told me my heart was stronger than men half my age. He asked me about my diet, expecting me to say I eat kale and expensive supplements. I laughed. I told him that for the last 30 years, my kitchen has been filled with the things they tell you to avoid. I told him that at 102, I don't follow science. I follow my ancestors. You see, the world has become obsessed with longevity, but they have forgotten how to actually live. They spend thousands of dollars on superfoods while they are starving for peace. At 102, I've realized that what you put in your mouth is only half the battle. The other half is what you keep in your heart. But today, I'm going to reveal the 4 foods that have been my foundation for 3 decades. They are simple, they are traditional, and they are exactly why I am still standing here, living alone and enjoying every sunrise. The first food on my list is something the modern world has tried to demonize for years. Full-fat butter. I see people in the supermarket buying those plastic tubs of margarine and processed oils, and it breaks my heart. I've eaten real grass-fed butter every single day for 30 years. I put it in my morning coffee. I slather it on my sourdough, and I cook my eggs in it. My doctor was shocked because my cholesterol is perfect. Why? Because real fat is fuel for the brain. I've seen so many of my friends lose their memories, fading into the fog of dementia. I truly believe that by feeding my brain the fats it was designed to burn, I've kept my mind as sharp as a needle. At 102, I still do the New York Times crossword in pen. Don't be afraid of the fat that comes from the earth. Be afraid of the fat that comes from a factory. The second food is my liquid gold, homemade bone broth. Long before it became a trend in health stores, my mother taught me to never waste a chicken or a beef bone. For 30 years I have kept a pot on the stove. This broth is the reason my joints don't creak and my skin doesn't feel like parchment paper. It's full of collagen and minerals that no pill can replicate. Every afternoon at 4 p.m., I have a warm mug of broth. It's my ritual. It heals the gut, and as we say in the old country, the gut is the second brain. If your gut is at peace, your mind will be at peace. Now, the third food is one that usually makes people raise their eyebrows. Fermented garlic and honey. Every autumn, I peel dozens of cloves of garlic, put them in a jar, and cover them with raw local honey. I let it sit for weeks until the garlic turns dark and soft. I take 1 clove every single morning on an empty stomach. I haven't had a cold or the flu in over 20 years. My doctor calls it anecdotal, but I call it a century of results. Garlic is the shield, and honey is the healer. It keeps the inflammation away, and at 102, inflammation is the enemy of movement. The fourth food is perhaps the most important, and it isn't a vegetable, it's red meat. specifically small portions of high-quality steak or lamb. They tell seniors to eat less meat, to stick to crackers and tea. I say that is how you become frail. I eat meat 3 times a week. It gives me the iron for my blood and the protein to keep my muscles strong enough to carry my own groceries. I've outlived the experts who told me to go vegan in the 90s. My muscles are still here because I gave them the building blocks they needed. But here is the hard truth that my doctor was truly shocked to hear. It's not just about these 4 foods. It's about the fact that I stopped eating stress 30 years ago. I stopped worrying about what the neighbors thought. I stopped trying to please people who didn't care about me. I practiced what I call social detachment. I chose my peace over being right. I chose my garden over the news. People don't realize that cortisol, the stress hormone, is more acidic than any soda you can drink. It eats you from the inside out. I've lived through the Great Depression, a world war, and the loss of my husband and many of my children. If I had carried that grief as a burden, I wouldn't have made it to 80, let alone 102. I learned to let the grief pass through me like wind through a screen door. I stayed, but the pain moved on. That is the secret to living alone at 102. You have to be good company for yourself. If you are bitter, your food will taste bitter. If you are grateful, even a crust of bread feels like a feast. My doctor asked me, "Aren't you afraid of living alone at your age? What if you fall?" I looked him in the eye and said, "I am more afraid of living in a cage than I am of dying on my own floor." That is the authority of age. I have earned the right to my risks. I have earned the right to my butter, my steak, and my silence. We live in a world that tries to protect the elderly until we have no life left to protect. They want us in chairs, watching television, eating mushy food, and waiting for the end. I refuse. I will be in my kitchen, seasoning my cast iron skillet until the day the Lord calls me home. If you are watching this and you are 60, 70, or 80, I want you to stop listening to the fear-mongers. Your body is a miracle, not a ticking time bomb. Feed it real food. Feed it animal fats, fermented plants, and salt. Stop eating the low-fat, high-sugar lies that the corporations sell you. And most importantly, feed your soul with purpose. I still live alone because I still have things to do. I have flowers to water, letters to write, and a life to lead. I don't post these stories for likes or for fame. I am 102. I have seen the vanity of the world. I post this because I want you to know that the golden years don't have to be a slow fade into gray. They can be vibrant. They can be rebellious. You can be the person who shocks your doctor. You can be the one who stays in their home, independent and proud. But it starts with what you put on your plate today and what you let go of in your mind. If this message reached your heart today, perhaps we should stay in touch. I've seen a lot in my 102 years, and I'm not done sharing yet. If you feel like this kind of old-fashioned wisdom is missing in your life, feel free to subscribe. It's just a way for us to keep the conversation going, like neighbors over a backyard fence. I'd love to have you in my circle. Before I go back to my garden, I want to ask you something. What is the one food you've been told to avoid that you secretly know makes you feel better? Is it the butter? Is it the occasional glass of wine? Or is it the peace of a quiet house? Tell me in the comments. I read them all. It takes me a while with my magnifying glass, but I read them. Let's show the world that we aren't just surviving. We are thriving on our own terms. I hope you find the courage to eat well, live well, and stop waiting for permission to be happy. Life is short, even when it lasts 100 years. Make sure yours has flavor, make sure it has fat, and make sure it has a whole lot of love. As I always say, don't count the days, make the days count. And if you can do that with a little bit of garlic and a lot of butter, you're already ahead of the game. Thank you for spending a few minutes of your precious time with me. Now go out there and live. The world is still waiting for you, no matter what the birth certificate says.